Hello everyone, I'm Nini FC, this is Blue Line CV. Welcome to another Chelsea Q&A livestream. You guys have the chance to have any of your questions you want answered by me, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys have for me. But anyway, it's good to see how everyone's doing. It's been a long time since I've done one of these, so if you guys didn't know, I kind of fucked up my back a bit, so yeah, I've been out for like 2 weeks, which has been kind of annoying. But I'm feeling a bit better now. It's still not perfect just yet, but I mean, it is what it is. But it's good to see that everyone is here. Of course, I'm guessing everyone's watched that Liverpool Paris Saint-Germain game. I'm not really surprised that Liverpool won the game. I thought that it could potentially be a high-scoring game, but in terms of how the game went, I kind of had a feeling it was going to go, down that way. I knew that Liverpool's midfield would really press Paris Saint-Germain's midfield, and they wouldn't have as much possession. And I thought that both teams, obviously with the quality of their front three, would get goals. So I mean, so yeah, it was a good game, and Liverpool keep letting these other people, Liverpool keep telling us that they are serious contenders. I think their front three is one of the best in the world, and I'm looking forward to playing against them end of the month, to be honest. But yeah, you guys, you know what it is. If you want any of your questions prioritized or answered by me, send a super chat. Of course, Patreon subscribers, I'm going to be getting to your questions as well, so don't forget about that. Let me get the Patreon up right now. Sweet, got it up, got it up. Come on. Yep, I've logged into Patreon, so if anyone's that's subscribing to me on Patreon, make sure you send your questions to me on Patreon, and I will be going through them, so don't forget about that. Okay, what questions do I have? Oh, all right, cool. Let me start this now. Let me start this. Check out the Blue Lines news. Why would it be blue? What are you talking about? Blue Lines news. Charlie Smith. What players should we be bringing in January? I think. Well, ideally, I would like to bring in another attacking player, and maybe a striker. But for me, I'd rather be focused on quality instead of quantity. I think that if we can get a much higher caliber of player in the summer, I think it would make much more sense to just wait until the summer to go for a higher caliber player instead of just going for any Tom, Dick and Harry in January. It's going to be hard, but who knows who's going to be available in January? Potentially Martial. That would be exciting to see. But I mean, if I could sign one player, it would most likely be Martial, to be honest. As you saw, it was a dead game. You thought the game was dead. I thought it was pretty entertaining, I can't lie. Tula. Hazard is better than Neymar and always will be. Pregan, Hudson-Odoi should get a chance against PAOK. Yep, I'm hoping that he does get a chance against them. I'm going to ask some people in case they might hear anything, or if they know that there's a chance he's going to be playing. I mean, when he was brought into the B team, it kind of does give a clear indication that he is going to be playing a part in that game, but hopefully he does start that game against them. Because let's be serious, playing against PAOK, there's literally no threat from them. Of course, I've got some videos coming up for tomorrow. I've got the match preview and a video on PAOK, so you guys can get an understanding of what type of team they are and the history about them. So you guys should enjoy that for tomorrow. Simon King, think the Chelsea-Liverpool League game will be a barometer of how far we've come. I definitely think that's going to be the case too. As I was saying, I think when we play them in the Carabao Cup, it's going to be a good test and a good indication to see just how strong our squad is, because I feel that both teams will use their B teams in the Carabao Cup game. And I think that when it comes to that league game as well, it's going to give us an indication of just how strong our team is. And I think that we can cause Liverpool a lot of problems. I think with the control midfield that we do have, with Eden Hazard on top form, and the rest of the front three players, we're forgetting that Willian and Pedro have been very good on top of that as well. They're all contributing and getting goals. So I think that ideally that's the best thing. Okay, Nini, Martial or Dybala. I think we've got to be a bit realistic. I think realistically, if money was no option, I'd probably say Dybala, because I think he'd be fantastic playing up front, where he can play that kind of, that Fekir type of role where he's able to drop deep and link up. I think that'd be fun to see. But I think realistically, Martial could be more realistic in my opinion. Okay, Pavan, not ready for Morata, William Moses front three. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping Hudson-Odoi is going to play. I'll be disappointed with Sarri if I don't see Hudson-Odoi playing a part. Nathan Allen, the ones who are saying Sarri out, okay, he's probably just trolling. So if you're mods, you know what to do with trolls. Okay, we should get Dybala, Nini. I mean, again, real life isn't like FIFA or Football Manager. I mean, it comes down to whether Dybala wants to leave. I mean, come on, let's be realistic now. It's not as simple as that. Debo, not at all scared to play Liverpool. Bring it on. Same. I'm not feeling scared, to be honest. I think that it's going to be. I think we're going to just about edge it, if I'm being honest. I think we've just got a few better players than them. Eden Hazard said, "Hey bro, how are you doing? Do you think Kovacic will be a Chelsea player next season?" Hey, it depends. It honestly depends, Joshua. Who knows? What if in the summer there becomes a player that's available in the market who's better than Kovacic? Let's say, I don't know, Isco was available. If there was a chance to bring in Isco, I think we'd have to take him over Kovacic, you know? YouTuber 3005, opinions on Ferland Mendy. Now, I know Ferland Mendy is, 23. I know he's a very fast attacking fullback. I'm not an expert when it comes to Leon. There's actually a guy on Twitter called Nico. This guy is an expert on Leon. He knows everything about them. I'll ask his opinions on Ferland Mendy, but I know that he's doing really well. But it's just typical of the French way. I mean, they've got so many great players coming through the ranks. It just really doesn't end. Henzo, score predictions for the match on Thursday. It's got to be 4-0. We have to get 4-0, 100%. Okay. Okay, other questions. Aishan Shah, what are the similarities between Sarri and Pep Guardiola? They're friends. That's not really a similarity. It's how they like to play football. You know, like to use a lot of vertical passes in the final third, controlling the game. How they set up their teams off the ball in terms of, you know, trying to stop counter-attacking opportunities. I think their philosophies are pretty similar, if I'm being honest, and I think that's why Pep Guardiola has always been such a fan of him, and this is why they developed that friendship between them. So I think they are very similar. Joanid Razak, yes, bro, how you doing, man? You good? Okay, imagine a scenario where Hazard is older and losing his pace. Do you think it will then be viable to play him at a striker and Hudson-Odoi at left wing? I kind of think with the system, I think Sarri was kind of indicating it a bit. Of course, he had his blueprint which he created with Napoli, but if he can improve on things and take it to the next level, at a club like Chelsea, you can do that. And you guys, throughout the summer, when I kept talking about Martial, I kept talking about, imagine these two interchanging positions and linking up. Let's say there's times where Hazard's playing central, Martial's out wide, and there's times where Martial's central, Hazard's out wide. I think it could work. We've got to realise with Eden Hazard, the reason why he looks so fast is because his acceleration is like 99. His acceleration in the first 10-15 meters is ridiculous, and it doesn't really matter about his sprint speed in that sense. It just matters about how quickly he bursts from his starting position, you know. And I think that with Eden Hazard, I think he can play his style of football for a very, very long time. So I don't really think pace is going to affect him too much. Okay, PRHD, how do you rate Bakayoko at AC Milan? Again, he's only played one game for them and he hasn't done too well. So I can't really give the clearest indication on him because he hasn't really played as much. But I mean, he hasn't been doing too well. Is it really that much of a surprise? Realistically, not really. So it is what it is. It's unfortunate. But I mean, I've always felt that he was the wrong signing in the first place. I never really thought the guy was ever Chelsea quality. When we were linked with him, I was never excited about it. I was saying in videos at the time as well that I don't think this guy's the right guy for us. And I mean, it looks like I was right, to be honest. So it is what it is. But let's hope that he can do well for the sake of his career, you know. I'm going to answer some Patreon questions. One second, you guys. Okay. Messages are coming up. Will, yes, Will. Hi, Nini. Firstly, hope your back is all good now. It's not perfect just yet, but it's getting better. My question is, do you think that Sarri is playing a dangerous game saying Hazard can get 40 goals and he may be the best player in Europe? seeing as the last time he gained praise like that, Mourinho said he was better than Ronaldo, then he had a dreadful run of form, or am I looking into things too much? Will, I'd probably say in the context of this point, I'd say that you are looking into things a bit too much. I think that it's good that the manager is putting pressure on Hazard to really perform and keep up his level of consistency as well. And it's good to see that managers, a manager in Sarri has the ambition for Hazard to get 40 goals. Other managers were talking about 25, 30 goals. Sarri's talking about 40 goals. I think Hazard is a player that can reach that level. He can get that amount of goals. And it's obvious and it's clear that Sarri is working a lot with Hazard in training. He made that point too, which I was speaking about in yesterday's video, talking about the fact that with Eden Hazard, he spends too much time dropping deep in his own half. He needs to focus more on his runs in behind and playing further forward, and that makes a lot of sense. And it's good that manager is... it's good Sarri's putting pressure on Hazard to keep up that consistency and really tries to improve, because when has a manager ever really critiqued Eden Hazard in that sense? I mean, the only time Hazard's ever been critiqued is because he hasn't tracked back enough, or he hasn't, done his defensive work as well. But to be honest, it doesn't matter if Hazard defends well or not. You shouldn't be using this guy for his defensive abilities. So it's nice for me that Sarri's really putting pressure on him to be the best player he can be. And I think Hazard's definitely going to feed from that. And I wouldn't be surprised if he does get near a goal margin like that. I think he's got it in him to get past 30 goals. Yes, Neil, how are you? I think... Hey, Nini, I sent this... Okay, you sent this yesterday, my bad. Okay, Nini, I sent this yesterday right at the end of your live stream. You probably missed it, so asking again, how do you see us matching up against Liverpool? I feel we have a lesser front line, but better everywhere else, and a better bench. I was telling my Liverpool friends that you better hope Chelsea's out of the race before March, April, because if we are still in the race in the last month, we will win this. The team has just too many players with a winning pedigree. We will not slip up. I think that there's a possibility. I think that, if anything, I keep saying, if we don't win the league, it's not going to be a case of us being 15, 20 points behind the league leaders. We're going to be right in there. It's going to be like that season, the 13-14 season, where we were really close to winning something, but we just weren't able to cross that final line. I don't think the team is at its peak just yet. I think by next season, that's when we'll be definitive title contenders. But I mean... I think that when it comes to competing against Man City and Liverpool, we can do that. I don't feel that those teams are an upgrade to us. You look at our midfield with Jorginho, Kante, Kovacic. It's one of the best ones. And I was just thinking, I was looking at the Paris Saint-Germain game. I kept thinking, imagine if we were playing them right now. You look at our midfield. Look how we upgraded it in the space of a few months. You look at Paris Saint-Germain's midfield of Verratti, Rabiot and Di Maria, and you compare ours. Ours is just better than theirs, So I think that we have the quality in the team. And I think that we can give Liverpool a test. I think that, of course, Liverpool is going to come down to their front three threat. But I think we have a threat with our front three. No one's really been talking about Pedro or Willian, but I think these guys have been very good. Of course, Hazard's been seeing the spotlight right now. But let's be serious, Hazard's the best player in the league. I've always thought when you have one of the best players in the world playing for you, that's always going to boost your chances of competing or winning something. So, I agree with you, Neil. I feel that we can get something against Liverpool. Yes, Abdi, how are you doing? What do you think about Kovacic against Cardiff? Before he went off, he looked solid with his link-up play and was a goal away from an excellent half. I mean, let's not forget, too, that he had a slight knock, so he couldn't even play the full game. I think with Kovacic, he's just... very good for the number 8 role. As I was saying beforehand when I was doing the transfer window review, Kovacic doesn't really have that goal threat. So it'd be nice to see if he can develop that over the next year or two. I think that he has it in him. I like to see him take more shots. That opportunity against Cardiff, I personally feel that Kovacic should have easily scored that. The build-up play was fantastic. The pass from Luiz, the 2 back heels from Giroud and Pedro. You have to finish that chance. I don't see how you mess that up. It should have been a simple dink over. So that's frustrating in that sense. But at the same time, maybe it's down to his injury. But still, I think with Kovacic, he just plays that role perfectly. I think that having him allows Eden Hazard to play more central as well. And I think that he just really supports all of our play in the final third better than what Barkley does, in my opinion. So I think that Kovacic is a very good player. Christian, hey man, how you doing? You think Icardi could be that forward with different dimensions that Chelsea will be looking at to sign in January? Let's be realistic. There's a chance that Inter Milan might still be in the Champions League. They'll probably be contending for Serie A this season. They're not going to be selling Icardi in January, so I think we need to keep our expectations a bit realistic. I think anytime it comes to windows like that, it always comes down to who's actually available in the market. And I think that sometimes he can be a slave to who's available in the market. So I think if it came down to there being like, B-Tech options in the January window, I wouldn't sign them. I'd wait until summer where we can sign upgrade players. I think, like, with how we did it this summer, signing, 3 upgrade guys in Kepa, Jorginho and Kovacic, we have to maintain that philosophy and that ambition. No more, backup players that don't provide anything. Sign players that are better than what we have. That's what we used to do beforehand, and I'm hoping we get back to that type of level. Yes, Jordan, how you doing? And thank you for becoming a Patreon subscriber, man. Thanks a lot. And sorry I missed your previous message. I haven't been on here for a while, but I'll get back to everyone's message. But okay, a question for tonight's stream. Where would you see Hazard moving to positionally when he begins to age? Would he move into a striker or because of his great finishing? To be honest, I see Hazard maintaining the same position he's playing in. I mean, look at guys like Robin and Ribéry. I think Hazard's in that same caliber. So I think Hazard will just maintain playing as a winger, to be honest. So, yeah, I think that's the case. And, or would he still play as a winger even though he's similar to Robin? Yeah, I think he'll play the same. I mean, with how we use Eden Hazard, the guy does play in the half space a lot. He does move in centrally as well. He does have that license and freedom to do what he wants. So it's not as if Hazard plays as a traditional winger that focuses on getting down the byline and putting crosses in the box. He plays a much more sophisticated style of football. A lot like a playmaker. I've always said that Hazard's like a 3-in-1 type of player. He can score, he can create, and he can control the game as well. So yeah, I think that Hazard will play wherever he wants, and I expect him to maintain playing that same position. Piers Duncan, hey Piers, how are you, man? Hey Nini, thank you for making excellent content. Thanks a lot. I have a question for you. I'm heading to London to see my first Chelsea game in late February for the Tottenham derby at the Bridge. The calendar says it's on a Wednesday night on the 27th. Do you think the game could be rescheduled based on both teams' performances in the European games? If my flight leaves on the 28th, I don't want to miss the game on the 2nd or 3rd of March. Should I extend my trip? I'd probably say extend it just to be safe. But at the same time, I'm going to speak to my dad about that. He's an expert when it comes to this type of stuff. So I'll definitely get back to you on Patreon, Piers. So again, man, yeah, I'll get back to you on that. But getting back to the questions on the live stream. Cool. Modas CFC, thank you, bro, for the super chat. Front three of Hazard, Pedro, Willian. I don't know. I mean, it could work better in this system. But I like how Hazard plays. I don't want Hazard's... As I keep saying, when Sarri uses his strikers, they don't really tend to get too involved in the game. They get maybe 20-something passes a game. They're not getting 30, 40, 50 passes plus. I don't think we can afford to waste our attacking players to get that little of, to get so little of possession and so little of the ball. I think that we have to use a striker currently. But yeah, I think that it could work if ever it came down to that. But I think with Giroud's showing that he can be the guy that can really bring out a different level in Eden Hazard, I think it's exciting. And Modas, again, thank you for another super chat. Fulham striker to Chelsea thoughts. That's Alexander Mitrovic, if you guys weren't aware. Now, with Mitrovic, we were actually close to signing him before he signed for Newcastle because we've been looking at him a lot whilst he was at Anderlecht. He was a very young guy, a target man striker. And of course, Chelsea like the attributes he has. So they understand what type of player he is and what he's doing. And they'll be interested in Mitrovic now because, with how Fulham play, they play a very possession-oriented, a possession style, very attacking, attractive football. And Mitrovic complements how they play and is a good outlet for them. So Chelsea will be thinking even more, this guy could be an ideal candidate. But again, I wouldn't take anything too serious. It's natural that clubs are going to look at tons of players for positions. It doesn't mean that just because we're linked with Mitrovic doesn't mean that he's our number one target. We're not going to know about who our targets are until we get closer to January. So let's be a bit patient. But yeah, Mitrovic he's a good target man. Yeah, he's a good target man, I'll say. Malcolm X, Fekir, Jorginho, Kante. Yeah, exactly. He could be an option. Bertrand Traore, we're gonna be seeing him tomorrow. Aiden Boyle, they'd like 60. Okay, let me get back to their questions. Okay. Kwame, Nini, thoughts on Hazard, Fekir, Traore front three, or a Hazard, Mitchie, Bailey front three? It'll be interesting. I know that Mitchie's doing decent for Valencia so far. Leon Bailey, yep, he's always a very good player to have. Fekir is an interesting one, but as the Leon president said, we weren't really interested in him. Bertrand Traore, I'm really looking forward to seeing how he's going to develop this season at Lyon. I mean, the guy gets goals, but let's see if he can take his game to another level. I think if he can, Chelsea might have to consider, looking at him again. Okay. Ansar, Nini, PSG with our midfield would be the best team in Europe. Thoughts? I think there's probably a massive chance they would be. I think if they got Hazard in that team as well, then I definitely think they could be. Hazard, Neymar, Mbappe. But yeah, I definitely think so. And, midfield is such a crucial part. With our midfield, they can press high and win the ball. They can control the game. They can play those vertical passes between the lines as well. It's a very accomplished midfield, very good technically, works very hard. They can tackle as well. So it's rare to have such a complementary midfield. But it just shows you how important it is for big clubs these days in modern day football. Alonso at striker. I don't know why I always get that question every live stream. Alonso can't be a striker. You guys got to realise, just because he has a nice shot on goal doesn't mean you're a striker. I mean, when you're a striker, the game's completely different. Number one, you play with your back to goal. You don't touch the ball as much. It's a completely different game, Just because Alonso makes late runs in the books, that's different, making a late run in the books compared to playing up front. So, yeah, I wouldn't look into that too much. Aiden Boyle, Blue Alex, no way we tried that before with Conte and it didn't work. Yeah, Lyon's front four is underrated. Yep, and they signed Dembele from Celtic as well. So it'll be a good game against Man City tomorrow. Jake, I think Kane's goals tally at the end of the season won't be enough for the Golden Boot due to the fact that it'll be a while till he gets the rest. I think so, but with Harry Kane, he always kind of stat pads near the end of a season. Let's be serious. That's when he normally gets hat-tricks or 2 goals here, 2 goals there. He gets most of his goals near the end, so maybe it makes sense. Around that time, a lot of teams know their fate for the season. A lot of those middle-tier teams, once they know they're away from being relegated, then I think that they don't really care about how their season goes. So it's no surprise why Spurs score more near the end of the season. Adam, we need an aggressive striker. I mean, how aggressive do we need a striker to be? And what type of aggressive strikers are there in the market right now, you guys? You've got to think about players that are actually available in the market or who could be available in the market. It's not a case of we want this guy, we're going to sign him. It's not as easy as that. Alexander, hey man, Mitrovic from Fulham is an option. He is. And to be honest, the guy that was talking about an aggressive striker, you have that in Mitrovic. He is an aggressive striker as well. Maybe they're looking at Mitrovic as an alternative to Giroud. I mean, Giroud's getting older. He's not getting younger. Maybe Chelsea want to have a younger style target man striker in the team to have for the future. If that's the case, then it does make sense that Mitrovic could be an option. So yeah, maybe it could be. I mean, Mitrovic is very good in the air. And he's very powerful as well. So, Mitrovic could be one, to be honest, as a plan B. Peterson, Nini, do you also think Chelsea are lacking a natural left-footed winger? I do think so. I think we do get that from Pedro at times, but I think that if we can really spend the money on someone big on the right wing, I was always kind of praying that we'd get Mahrez. Was never the case. I was hoping that Dembele wouldn't be playing. This guy's been smacking it recently for Barcelona, so that rules us out from signing him. But yeah, again, it depends on who's available in the market. Leon Bailey, I think he's an option for next summer, and it'll be interesting to see how it does develop. Nini, do you see Cesc breaking into our midfield? It depends. Sarri always acknowledges how players perform during training sessions, so there's always going to be a case for him to play. And I think with Fabregas, with how versatile he is, he can play in any role midfield. Sarri will look to him. So I think Fabregas will definitely get game time. Man 14, hey Nini, what's your thoughts on Marcin Bolka as our number 1 in the future? Now with Bolka, as I've said in lots of streams beforehand, sometimes with these streams I do give information that I can't really put in a video. And it's not because I'm not allowed to, it's because, I'm not going to make a video on Bolker and his contract situation. It just doesn't make any sense. But at the time, what I was hearing was that Bolker wanted to. He hasn't agreed to sign a new contract. He's considering his options, and it's 50-50 in regards to whether he's going to stay or whether he's going to leave. So it makes sense. We saw how this guy was during pre-season, very confident. I loved how he was directing players in front of him where to be. He was angry if players weren't in the right positions from set pieces. And when you see a young player with that type of confidence in themselves, it does tell you that, okay, maybe this guy has something about him. So it'd be great if he can get a loan move, or if he does get a good club to go to. And if I'm Chelsea, if you're thinking it looks like we can't keep this guy, buyback option. Buyback option. Is it that hard? It's not that hard. So yeah, it is what it is. But you guys, if you want any of your questions prioritized, send a super chat. That way I can spend longer, and obviously your question will be answered as well. I'm going to be on for half an hour more, so I'm not going to be on for too long. Okay. We should get Dolberg from Ajax as a striker. Yeah, Dolberg, he is like a Drek Iniesta false nine type of striker. He could be interesting. He is kind of Merton. Actually, no, I'm not going to say that. But I think he would complement playing under Sarri as a poacher. I think he could be an option. Yeah, Bolker's massive. He's really tall. So yeah, he's got that in his locker. Jake, Nini, who do you think is more exciting? Is a more exciting prospect, and who would you rather Chelsea sign if you have the option, Rashford or Richarlison? If I'm being honest, I don't really want any of them. I think that they're decent players, but I don't think they're amazing, to be honest. Richarlison's been on good form, but I think with someone like him, I'd want to see what he does throughout his season. Just playing well for 2 months doesn't mean much. I think, casting minds back to someone like Gareth Bale when he was younger. Gareth Bale, no surprise, he became a Real Madrid player. This guy, it took him a few seasons before he was consistently good throughout an entire season. A lot of times with Gareth Bale beforehand, he'd be great for the first half of the season or the second half, but he wasn't consistent. It wasn't until that season under Villas-Boas where he got 26 goals, he scored 12 long shots, etc., etc. That's when he really showed his world-class credentials. And I think that with guys like Rashford and Richarlison, sometimes it's not always about potential. You have to see their end product of what they can do. And I think that if these guys want to obviously, be a first-team player for a big team, let's see what you can do over 2 or 3 years. Okay. Nini, Rodrigo will be a great buy because he's both physical and can run the channels. He's lethal. You're talking about Rodrigo from Valencia? Yeah, he'd be ideal. Nini, FIFA 19 next week. Yep, 100%. I'm looking forward to the 20th. I've got EA access, so I'm going to be playing that 10-hour trial. Dreffel has a decent start at Sampdoria. Yeah, it's been decent, but again, he left Roma. If you're not going to... to be honest, they have Edin Dzeko ahead of him, so it's understandable, but that's the type of player I don't want us to look at. I don't want us to look at guys playing for Sampdoria up front. I'm sorry. We need to be going for guys that are upgrades or ones for the future, Bro, I can't even pronounce that name. But Nini, do you think Ruben's starting against PAOK as he's still recovering as it seems? Potentially, we'll have an idea. But I think there's a chance that he could get some game time in that game. Giro Digital Media. If Tammy Abraham can just man up, he could be good. But his brain is slow and he seems like he lacks drive. I definitely don't agree with that, man. When you watch Tammy Abraham, he definitely does have a lot of drive. He's very vocal on the pitch. He definitely has a lot of desire when he plays as well. So that's definitely not the case. Let's be serious. You're playing for a team. To be honest, I've wanted Tammy Abraham to play for a better style of team that keeps the ball, because I'm thinking if you're at Chelsea, I want to see what you can do with the ball. He was at Bristol City where a lot of the chances he's getting are they're not chances created by the system. It's always what's the words? It's always like off the scuff type of chances. At Swansea as well, they didn't create anything. I think they had the worst chance creation in the league last season. It's natural that the strikers are going to struggle when you're playing at Swansea. And I think with Aston Villa as well, under Steve Bruce, who plays shit football on top of that, it's going to be another season where Abrahams is playing for these, Brexit style teams. So I don't know. I'm disappointed that Abrahams didn't go to Bordeaux. I'm thinking Bordeaux, they're signing a lot of young players. They've got that philosophy there as well. I don't see how you're turning down the opportunity to go to Bordeaux. Of course, he was kind of screwed in a way. He had a lot of clubs across Europe that wanted him before the window ended in England. But then, of course, he thought that he's going to have a chance at Chelsea. Sarri assured him as well. But as the weeks were going on, he realised that I'm not really going to be playing as much. And by the time, obviously, he wanted to leave, his options aren't really as much. So I keep saying this point, these Chelsea youngsters, stop always basing all your career decisions based on your future for playing for Chelsea. It's not going to be the case. Chelsea don't care. Build your name, build your career. If you don't play for Chelsea, there's still other clubs out there. Chelsea isn't the be-all and end-all. Too many times these young players make the wrong career decision because they keep thinking that all they need is one good season to play at Chelsea. Listen, when guys like De Bruyne, Salah, Lukaku, why did I say it like that? Lukaku, when these three guys have great individual seasons and it's still not enough, what makes you think you're going to have a chance? So just be a bit more selfish in your career. If I was a Chelsea youth player, I'd be looking to leave as quickly as possible. I'm looking at Sancho at Dortmund. My guy's starting games now, looking phenomenal, looking like an English Neymar, I have to say. And there's talks that he could be in the next England team as well. And you look at Hudson-Odoi. Imagine this guy still in the development team. And it's like, how can he be? Sancho is not on another level to Hudson-Odoi. They're on the same level. And I'm thinking, Hudson, January, if you're not playing games, you need to go. Think about your career. It's not good enough to go to the Championship to get game time. That's not going to help you. Look at Sancho. He's playing for Dortmund. His career trajectory is going to be much faster and higher than Hudson-Odoi's. If Hudson-Odoi isn't selfish and just doesn't think about himself. So, because that would pay me the most. We've seen with guys like Berger and Masunda. These guys would be on a much higher level right now. They've been getting the wrong loan moves year in, year out. And it's just really affected their careers so far. If they're not going to play at Chelsea, I want these guys to have the best careers they can have. And I don't know, that's how I see it, to be honest. You guys, as I'm saying, if you want any of your questions prioritized, make sure you send a super chat. Okay, what other questions? Okay. If you deleted why are messages getting deleted? Games will come thick and everyone will get. Why are messages getting deleted? If you're a moderator, can stop deleting messages, please. It's childish. I'll just take you off. I had problems beforehand. It was unnecessary and it was annoying. I don't know why everyone's questions are getting deleted. Honestly, okay, I know who it is. I'm gonna Prince Kaka. I don't know what you're playing at, man. I really don't understand what you're doing. I just don't get why people get a little bit of power and they just start moving crazy. Why are you deleting every comment here and there? You're just being silly right now. Sorry about that, you guys. Appreciate that. I'm finding out he's just trolling and being stupid. Yeah, I've taken off that Prince Kaka guy. Yeah, Alex, I understand. You guys, sorry about that. I mean, I just don't get. He's probably laughing too, thinking, how funny, but it's just super childish. I can't remember. It's my fault. I need to be more due diligent, to be honest. But you guys, I'm going to answer your questions. I can still see them. Okay, Bucky. Nini, you think Sarri can play a 3-5-2 formations? No, I'm not thinking about 3-5-2, Bucky. Don't even waste your time thinking about 3-5-2. Please, don't worry about that. Nini, the ball, Nini. Do you think Chelsea would be able to press the way Liverpool are pressing? Because that's what Sarri wants to do. Well, if you've been seeing how we've been playing, all we do is press very aggressively. So we can press very high. That's what the players have been doing for the past few weeks now. So, it'll be a nice competition against Liverpool's. Giro, the games will come thick and fast. People will get games. Misha, thoughts on the future of Mason Mount? Could he break into the team next year after a great season? Now, as I was saying in a video beforehand, the club actually told Mason Mount that he was going to get an opportunity during pre-season, and then the day Sarri signed, one of the coaches told him actually you should look for a loan move. So you could never really rely on Chelsea to keep their word. It just doesn't happen. Sarri didn't even get the chance to see Mason Mount. But I mean, it's a tricky one because let's say we sign Kovacic on a permanent deal. No matter how good Mason Mount does for Derby, Kovacic will just get the buy. You know, he's going to be seen as a better option over Mason Mount. It's interesting though because Mason Mount is playing in midfield for Derby. The guy's a goal scorer. It's kind of like seeing Asensio playing in midfield in that sense. I think they're very similar players. And I think that he can provide a lot. He can be that natural goal scoring threat from midfield that we don't really have in the team. You know, Kovacic isn't that guy. Barkley, could he be that guy? I'm not sure if he can score goals playing in a possession style system like this. Ruben Loftus-Cheek, if he can get the game time, I think he could. But I think out of all those guys, Mason Mount's the guy most likely to get you a goal out from nothing, to get you 3 points from individual effort. I mean, the guy's a fantastic player, and I'd hope that he does get something. I mean, it's a hard one, you know. No matter how well you do for Derby, does that mean you're definitely going to get a chance at Chelsea? In a way, it doesn't really mean anything at the end of the season. I'm not too sure. It's a hard one. It is a hard one. Okay, questions. Gotti Rares, thank you, bro. I appreciate that for the super chat. Have you ever played pro clubs on FIFA? And if so, do you think it could potentially be the future of FIFA? That is an interesting question. I've never, I play pro clubs every now and then. I like the concepts of it, but I don't think that EA support pro clubs enough. I think that would be great to actually have, a proper 11-a-side game where, you have to be a club where you have to train together to understand how to play, etc., etc. It has the potential, but I don't think that EA have found a way to monetize that just yet. That's why there's no real emphasis put on it. I mean, let's be realistic. The only thing we ever update is Ultimate Team. They don't update anything else. What they should be doing by now, Ultimate Team should just be a free-to-play game, and you just pay for packs. That's what it should be, because no one's playing anything else. So, yeah, it's disappointing, to be honest. It is, but that's what it's like with big business. They make everything as cheap as possible to add as much as they can. So, it is how it is. Okay, All American Chelsea FC. Yes, bro, how you doing? You guys, make sure you do listen to that podcast. I was featured on All American Chelsea's podcast. It was a great one. The guy's a great presenter. He's definitely going to be the next big Chelsea podcaster. So yeah, bro, it's good to see you. Nini, good chance I'll be at the Southampton game in a few weeks. Are you good to pull up and watch the game with your homie? You know what? I'm going to check my calendar. I'm going to see if I can, bro. I can't promise nothing just yet, but I'll definitely make sure I can potentially free up some space to link you for that game, man. 100%. Damar Thomas, Nini, you should run for technical director. Thanks for that, bro. Thanks for that, man. Sam Atherton, people need to shut up about Neymar. So he has a bad game, he's a fraud. Yeah, Sam, I agree. You know why people make comments like that? It's because they don't ever watch Paris Saint-Germain play. They only ever watch him in the Champions League. So that's why they get super critical about him. But I mean, yeah. I just think that people have been a bit too reactionary, in my opinion. Nicholas. Hey, Nicholas. Alex, you're doing great. Yeah, 100%, man. Kristen, you're doing bits. Barack Abani. Do you think Kovacic will stay for next season? Honestly, it depends. I think that Chelsea do want to keep him. But who knows what happens throughout the season? What if he gets an injury or a better player becomes available? Or Real Madrid want to keep him? I mean, we don't know just yet. So, yeah, we have to just wait and see. Short Boss Nini, do you think Christensen would be a better option than Luiz? I mean, maybe that's another video I have to go more in depth with in the future. I honestly feel that Luiz is getting a bit too much unnecessary criticism. Yeah, he's made some very small, light mistakes, but I've been watching a lot of football recently, especially with my back. And the amount of times you see players making individual mistakes, especially from defenders. But it's not every single time they get caught up for every single mistake they make. I mean, I don't think Luiz has made a massive individual error. And I think it's kind of unfair that people are using that against him. It just doesn't make too much sense to me. But I think with Christensen, I think it comes down to that physicality thing. I think Sarri wants that aggressive-like tendency. I don't see why people don't ever compare Christensen and Rudiger. I think that Christensen can easily play that Rudiger role. I mean, Rudiger's a good player. But I mean, is he much better than Christensen? I'm not too sure, to be honest. Yes, David Tellez, hey bro. Carefree, bro. Thank you for that super chat. Means a lot. You guys, I'm going to be here for another 15 minutes. If you want your question prioritized, make sure you send a super chat or consider becoming a Patreon subscriber. Of course, there's going to be a lot of perks. That's finally going to be happening, so don't worry about that. And yes, it's a great way to support the channel and to get a lot of perks that, you know, normal subscribers don't get. Going back, I'm going to answer some Patreon questions for a second. Hey, Neil. Okay. The Ruben injury is unfortunate. I hope he gets back before the Liverpool games. I feel he should be first rotation for both Kovacic and Kante's positions. Yes, I do agree with you 100%. I know we feel Kante can play forever, but we should rest him at times and play Ruben there as well. Yep. If managed well, there's a lot of significant minutes to be had for Ruben. He just offers so much more control and creativity than Barkley. So many fans have been taken in by Barkley's work rate, but I just don't get it. Ruben is a serious upgrade. Neil, again, I kind of agree. You know, there's one point I'm always stressing. It shouldn't always be, you know, it's always it's always application over quality. I mean, too often we look at players that work hard and run hard, but it's okay if you're a team in the, you know, outside the top 5. But when you're playing for a team like Chelsea or United or, you know, Man City, you need to have end product with what you do. You need to have that. It's not just about working hard and playing safe and keeping your possession. You need to actually provide something. And so far, we're not seeing that yet in Barkley's game. I think it's a confidence thing. So that's why I'm not really talking about Barkley too much. I think he needs to get that confidence back. But I mean, I look at Ruben and I just think everything he does is just looks better than Barkley in my opinion. But yeah, again, Neil, man, a lot of very fantastic points. I'm going to read your other messages on Patreon. I think I missed them, but yeah, there's a lot of very good points he made, man. Abdi, yes, Abdi. Thoughts on Chelsea captaincy? It's as easy as that. Eden Hazard, he needs to be the new. I mean, I would pick David Luiz, but I think just for the sake of our future and to keep Hazard happy, I think make Hazard the captain. I think if he has even more responsibility on top, I think that could unlock another mental edge in his game. So I think Hazard should be the captain. I'm looking at Azpilicueta. I mean, he's a soldier. The guy's never been a captain in my opinion. I mean, throughout these games, does anyone even remember him to be the captain? I mean, do you ever see him being vocal, telling people where to go, what to do? I mean, you know, he has a more silent approach, but I mean, he's a soldier. The guy's not a captain. So if you're considering a new captain, I mean, it has to be Eden Hazard. And I think in my personal opinion, it is going to be Hazard because I think he would have decided on Aspie already if that was the case. But yeah, you guys, give me your thoughts. Do you think that Aspie should continue to be the captain? Do you think Hazard is the clear favourite for the captaincy? Or do you think someone like Rudiger or Luiz should be considered? Abdi, thoughts on Mason Mount? And will we see Alex Goldberg on Blue Lines? Yeah, I've been hoping to have him on again. It'll be interesting to have Alex on. So yeah, sometime soon. Josh Banks, yes, bro, how you doing? What do you think the score will be for both Liverpool games? Also, check my Twitter DMs. Yep, I'll check the Twitter DMs afterwards because I don't look on Twitter when I'm live streaming. But I think there'll be goals that will be scored. I think for the Carabao Cup game, both teams will use a weaker team. I think the league game will be the most. I think it'll be like a 3-2, something like that. I see both teams scoring. Nav, brah. Not really a question. Just wanted to put this out there. I don't really think Sarri could have come to a club at a better time than this. You're right. Hazard entering his prime, coming from an unbelievable performance at the World Cup. Yeah, not the first time Hazard's been one of the standouts in the World Cup. Let's not forget that. And as well as imagine Napoli bottling the CL and ending up in the EL against us in the playoffs. Well, would love Sarri to silence ADL. That would be interesting. There's a possibility. I mean, you know, Napoli did draw against Red Star. They shouldn't really be doing that if they have any ambitions of getting out this group stage. So it looks like realistically they will be going into the Europa League. They haven't been doing too well under Ancelotti. And again, it's looking like a case of all these old managers like Ancelotti, Conte, Mourinho. There's a reason why they're not having as much success in this new decade. Because I think their tactics are just a bit too old now. And you're seeing that Napoli, I mean, they have been kind of unlucky. With the goals they've conceded, they've just been conceding against wonder goals, which you can't really do anything about. Football's like that sometimes, but I mean, it's clear that the Napoli players aren't performing as well as they were under Sarri. And You guys, you know when people last season were talking about Conte and saying that, oh, get behind the manager, he's a world-class manager, he's this, he's that. I mean, let's look at how, when you get the right appointment for a team, look how the right manager can really elevate what you have. It's still the same Napoli team, still the same Napoli players. The only player they've lost is Jorginho, but they've got other guys like Diarra there and that Spanish guy as well. So it's not as if that they've been stripped bare. And look what they're doing without Sarri. They're not the same team anymore. So this is why we're lucky, having these guys, having these managers like this. They bring out another level in the team, and it's no surprise why so many players are performing now under Sarri. You guys, I'm here for another 10 more minutes and I'm off. So if you want any of your questions prioritized, send a super chat. Yes, Ben, thank you for that super chat, man. Means a lot. Joseph25, hey man, hi Nini. Read somewhere that Hazard has offers from Bayern, Real and Barca next season. Scary if true. And who is the other striker option Sarri is looking into? Now, when it comes to those rumours, let's be realistic. Of course, there's a probability that the big clubs will look at the big players. It's natural. But again, I think realistically, Real Madrid could be the only club. But I was even thinking then, you've got Isco and Asensio, Hazard plays on the left. I mean, that means you'd have to sacrifice one of them. Barca with Malcolm, Dembele, Coutinho. I mean, I don't see him going there. Bayern Munich, they don't spend more than 40 million on anyone. There's no way they're going to spend 100 million needing Hazard. And no way Hazard is going to go to the Bundesliga. So, in my personal opinion now, even though, let's be serious, things can change in the future. I mean, the season's only just started. I mean, who knows what's going to happen next year, for example. But I feel that Hazard will most likely stay again, to be honest. So, I'm not too worried about that. And again, when I was talking about, again, I brought up this point a while back, but with Sarri, he wants a striker with different dimensions. Now, I haven't heard of any targets. I stress that there's no targets I've heard of. I think when it comes to the targets we're looking at, that's naturally going to happen as we get closer to the January window. So, just got to be a bit patient, to be honest. Other questions, let me see. Okay, what other ones are there? Misha, hey man, I think next summer we need to sign world-class forward. Yep. Imagine Hazard together with Ousmane Dembele. Honestly, that would be incredible if that happened. Yes, Ali, how are you, man? Nini, to be fair, Ancelotti, he's only got in Nice time to transition his team, and they're still second in Serie A. Yeah, you're right, but they doesn't have that. They're just not the same from what I've seen of them. Malcolm X, Nini, Fekir or Kovacic, who do you prefer? I personally feel Fekir's better in those forward areas. I don't think having him as a number 8 would be ideal for him. I mean, the guy used to get 20 plus goals for Lyon, so I don't know. I don't think so. Do you rate Tovan over 20 goals and 10 assists last season? I mean, as I was saying in the videos during summer, Chelsea were looking at Tovan. He was an option there. And it's not going to be a surprise to see us looking in for a right winger for next summer. So Tovan is still on the radar. Isaac Fleming, thoughts on Casilla? I know that he's an inside forward. To be honest, I don't know anything about him. I know who the player is, Federico Casilla or Casilla, but I haven't really seen him play. So he'd be someone to research into and look into, to be honest. Yes, Femi, honestly, captains nowadays don't have to be vocal. Their abilities and what they bring to the team on the pitch is what matters. I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on the team and the players in the team, to be honest. I think that certain captains need to have a positive mental boost for the team. Now, let's say you've got a team where there's a lot of quiet figures, so maybe you don't need a very vocal captain. But let's say there's a team where there are players with egos. Maybe it is good to have that that prime guy who is going to take control and take charge. But I don't know. I just don't see Aspie as a captain throughout these games. I mean, what have we really seen in terms of leadership, to be honest? I'm not having a go at the guy. I mean, he never asked to be captain, but I just don't really see it, to be honest. Yeah, I just don't see it. Kwame, sorry, he's going to win PL before that fraud Klopp does. I think so. Kay, yes, Kay, bro, actually, thank you, bro. Do you think we still need to buy Bailey in January with Pedro performing quite well? I think, again, if he's available in the market and other clubs are trying to sign him, then I think we'll have to sign someone like Bailey, because you've got to think for the future. Do I think that Pedro or really might still be here at the end of the season. Will they be here for next season? Who knows? Let's not forget the Chinese market's going to be open. I've been saying this since the summer, but there was a lot of interest from Chinese clubs in regards to Pedro. And what if Pedro decides, you know what, I'll get paid a fortune here? Or what if a Japanese club decides to sign him? You know, we've seen Iniesta and Torres go to Japan as well. So, I mean, who knows? But I think, again, it always comes down to who's available in the market. Who's available in the market. And we might need to act and be decisive if Bailey is. So yeah, I think, you know, especially for the long-term future, we'd have to sign him regardless, to be honest. Okay, Nathaniel, Hazard as captain, yes. Dorman Richards, Tovan, and we win the league. Again, you know, it's good that everyone sees it. You know, we do need the guy on the right that does have that natural left foot. I think it would just give us even more of an edge in the final thirds. Okay, Depay at striker. I know you've definitely been looking at his FIFA 19 cards when you're saying that. King Oscar Nini, Fekir as striker, Bailey as left winger. But where does Hazard play? Okay, short boss. We need a new wing on the right hand side. Yep, we do. Misha. Personally, I feel Aspie has been our worst player. Alonso has adapted to Sarri but much faster. You're right, but at the same time, with how Sarri sets up his team, most of the attack does come down the left-hand side. Now, before Sarri officially came, I kept contemplating about the idea in regards to whether Sarri might change how he gets his teams to play. Maybe he might balance things out a bit, and teams will equally attack down the right and down the left. But it seems like he is continuing what he was doing at Napoli. We are focusing more on the left-hand side. So in that sense, everything that happens on the right-hand side is you know, players have to play a much more supportive role, you know. So that's why Kante supports the play. That's why Aspie supports the play, and he can't get forward as much. But I can understand what you mean in regards to Aspie. But you know, sometimes when you have to do like the dirty work for the team, you can't really show what you can do. You know what I mean? So yeah, he's never gonna really stand out or be eye catchy, but he's still doing his role pretty well, to be honest. Nathaniel, Dini, do you think we can get Kingsley Coleman? Coleman, I've always felt Coleman is someone that is better. He's like a Leroy Sané, you know, he's better playing out wide. He's not really someone that can cut inside or really link up or play with his back to goal. So I don't really think we need someone like Coleman, to be honest. Okay, Nikoi, Mahrez chose City over Chelsea. And now, I mean, I don't know if he chose... I know he didn't chose City over us. We just couldn't agree nothing with Leicester when we tried to sign him years ago. And obviously, Man City wanted him and he went there. Do you think Chalobah... Okay. Do you think Chalobah could easily play that Jorginho role? I see him controlling the tempo of the games. I think he can. I think with Chalobah, you know, the guy's very versatile. Whilst he was at Napoli, he actually played back up to Hamsik. So he was playing as a box-to-box player. Let's not forget, you know... Chalobah was making his name as a box-to-box midfield player when he was younger. But he's very versatile. He can play in tons of positions. And it's a shame that someone like him left, to be honest. I think if we had just kept him and we didn't just allow the managers to do what they want, we wouldn't have had to sign Bakayoko or Drinkwater. You know what I mean? So it's a bit of a shame, to be honest. King Oscar Nini. Bailey as right winger, my bad. Yep, yeah, man. David... Oh, yeah, I understand what you mean. Yep. David, thoughts on Moses' future and role this season? Well, from what I was hearing before before Sarri... Actually, no, not before Sarri came. What I was hearing during the summer was that, number one, Moses was going to be a winger, so I was told that beforehand. But, you know, sometimes with information I hear, I'm always a bit sceptical sometimes. But then afterwards, I'm thinking I shouldn't have been sceptical. I should have just taken it at face value. But it's looking like Moses could potentially go. Realistically, he's not going to get much game time playing as a winger. I don't understand why he's been seen as a winger than a fullback. That's what really baffles me. I'm thinking, how can Zappacosta be seen as the fullback option over Moses when Moses was much better than Zappacosta last year? So that really does baffle me a bit. And if there's one slight thing, again, it's a slight thing, but I'm a bit disappointed in Sarri that he's seen Moses as a winger instead of a fullback, because I don't know, I think that Moses was very good defensively. That's one thing you definitely can't say he was bad at. And I think that if the guy can defend better than Zappacosta as a natural fullback, what's it really saying? But that's my opinion, of course. That doesn't mean that I'm right. Dorman, low. Hazard is at his best, so less he's not the player he was. Okay. You guys, I'm on here for the next 2 minutes. I'm not here for too long. So now it's your last chance to have any questions prioritized. Send a super chat if you want. Abdi, predicted lineup for the game on Thursday. Abdi, I'm going to release the videos tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. I'm here for 2 more minutes, you guys, and I'm bouncing and I'm off. Jordan CFC, hey man, I missed your super chat earlier. Apologies for that. Jordan, Nini, do you think Giroud will be our number 1 striker now? I'm not too sure, to be honest. I was making the point in my video, and actually I found out afterwards too that Sarri actually said it himself. So if it's coming from the boss, the main man, then we have to listen to it. And Sarri was stating that there's going to be circumstances where you have to play Giroud, and there's going to be other games where you have to play Morata. And I think that's how Sarri's seeing things so far. I don't necessarily think he sees any of them as his long-term choice as first-team striker, to be honest. I think that if Chelsea were like to him, we're going to give you 100 million to sign a striker of your choice, he'd be very happy and he'd take that offer. But I think that he's going to, Sarri's not someone that complains. Sarri likes to coach players, likes to improve them. He likes to find plan Bs, and he likes to work his way around problems. He's not like guys like Mourinho or Conte who, they don't get their way. They're not flexible and they can't do anything. So, again, very intelligent from Sarri. And, yeah, I think he's making the best of a bad situation so far. Okay, AC for David Luiz. Yeah. Nasiogo. Okay, why do people like Masunda? Why don't people like Masunda anymore? Honestly, I'm not too sure, to be honest. I think he's been very unfortunate with injuries, but it's so obvious why players are more receptive to injuries. I mean, you do need to play a lot. You have to play lots of games to get your match fitness. You need to get that. You have to get used to the flow of games and the tempo and the and just how aggressive games are. So it's no surprise why, number 1, Ruben had an injury last season, and why Masunda's been injured now, because they barely played any football because of Chelsea. And with Masunda, I don't know why people get so upset about what he does on social media. I don't think it's anything personal against the clubs he's at. I kind of see it as, Masunda's like, well, if I'm at this loan club, my entire attention and focus is with this team. Maybe it's taking things to an extreme level, but, with athletes of every sport, especially when you're playing at the top and playing at, at a high level, you do become more strict with how you micromanage yourself, So some things we might find unnecessary. If that gives an athlete more of a mental boost, then of course they're going to take that option. So I don't really think it's that deep that Masunda always constantly unfollows and follows. I mean, it's only social media. I'm sure he has everyone's number that he needs to have. Listen, most of the times when players get social media, it's purely for sponsors anyway. It's not because they want to let us know how their life's going. It's because they've got sponsor stuff they need to do. So, players are brands when you become a big one. So, I just don't think it's a big deal why people care about what players do on social media, to be honest. I think that's the last thing for anyone's worries. And I feel for Charlie Masunda. I keep looking at videos of his time at Real Betis thinking, my God, the talent and the ability. Even the games he played under Conte last season, that assist against Brighton, the game against Nottingham Forest. When did he have a bad game when he played? He didn't have one. And I'm just thinking, that's the disheartening thing about being a Chelsea youth player. When you don't do badly, you still don't get a chance. Even if the guy got assists and goals, it still wasn't enough. It's a shame he's at Vitesse. I think that says a lot right now. He needs to get a move. He needs to move permanently somewhere. So hopefully he can recover quickly and at least play the second half of the season. But yeah, it's a shame. Okay, Chidera, Nini, do we even have a proper backup for Hazard? Well, I mean, William will play on the left, so we do. And I guess Hudson-Odoi is a shout as well. Dejan, which player has the most winners' medals in the Premier League? Answer, David Luiz. Oh, well, currently. Right, that's a good stat from Dejan. I'm gonna answer the last question, then I'm gonna have to keep it moving, you guys. So yeah, I need to go. As I'm saying, you guys, if anyone wants any question prioritized, or if you want to be a subscriber on Patreon, all the links are in the description below. it's definitely worth your while to do that. I'm going to answer the final question, then I'm actually just going to take it easy and chill, to be honest. Alex Ayala, thank you, bro, for becoming a Patreon subscriber. I just got the email notification. Thanks a lot for that. Really appreciate that. Of course, this week, without fail, this week, I'm going to be coming with WhatsApp group chats and all that type of stuff for the Patreon guys. So you guys, I haven't forgotten about you. Things have just been delayed because of my back, to be honest. So all that stuff's going to be happening this week. So look forward to that. The last question. What's the last question going to be before man's got to bounce? Okay. Okay, let me answer Femi's question. Giroud should play against this low block teams where he'll have to play those quick 1-2s with Hazard in tight spaces. I agree 100%, Femi. I think against teams that are going to defend deep or teams that are very physical aerial defenders, then I think Giroud will be the guy for that, to be honest. I think there was a great stat that I saw. Fuck's sake. There was a great stat I saw on Twitter where I think whenever Hazard and Giroud have played together, I think Chelsea have won like nearly all their games or something, and it's key to see. You know, I think that Hazard gets that type of final link-up play in the final third which he needs. Plus, Giroud makes space for him because opposition defenders need to man mark him because he's a target man. So yeah, I definitely think that Giroud does have his uses. I mean, let's be serious. We're not going to be using Giroud for his goal-scoring ability, but I'm seeing it like this. You know, if Giroud can get an extra 15% out of Hazard, then I think he should be playing first choice in my opinion. But you guys, I'm going to bounce now. Thank you for obviously listening to this live stream. It means a lot. I might do another Q&A live stream later on this week, just to make up the lack of live streams I've done over the past 2 weeks. So stay tuned for that. Thank you to everyone that sent me super chats. Thank you to everyone that's signed up to me on Patreon. Thank you to everyone that actually downloaded the OneFootball app as well. Hopefully I can get another OneFootball deal for next month. Fingers crossed, that's what I'm hoping for. And thank you for all the questions and just the support. I mean, you know, you guys, you all play your part in giving this channel a community feel. It means a lot, from the comment section to the discussions in my videos, etc, etc. It's good to see, and I definitely want to just improve on that and just make it a better platform for you guys. But I'm going to bounce now. Thank you for watching. I'm EFC. This is Blue Line CV. Signing out.